Good afternoon, everyone. It is Father's Day here in Guelph, June 16th, and just wanted to do a quick video again about my most recent thrift finds and garage sale finds from yesterday, June 15th. Pretty good sales overall in Guelph, despite only being 15 listed sales, which is incredibly low. So what I thought I would do is go over my thrift finds for the last, I think, week or two, and then yesterday's yard sale finds. So I'll start right off with, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this already. Thought this was pretty cool. It is a Nerf Kenner hockey set, complete in the box, 1997. So it has a little hockey player game that you kind of shoot foam pucks at each other. I really like the neon Nerf logo on it. And so I grabbed this. This was actually at Bibles for Missions in Guelph, which is a thrift store. I occasionally find things there. It was $5, which I think was an okay deal. Probably going to try and sell this, but you never know. It's a fairly substantial size, so we'll see how much room it takes up on the shelf. But yeah, so pretty cool find overall. And that was kind of just like a weird one-off when I went in there. Then back to my usual Value Village. Started off with a nice, really clean GameCube controller, black one. I have several of those, so I'll be selling that one. Pokemon Monopoly. This is the, I don't know how to say that, regular edition. So this is complete. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I picked up a vintage Pokemon Monopoly when I was in Sydney, BC, and Victoria, BC on the island a few weeks ago. So yeah, another Pokemon Monopoly. Probably keep this one just because it's video game related, but we'll see. And this is actually for the kids. So a boomerang and book, how to throw a boomerang. So there's, lots of large parks around us in Guelph. So me and the kids are going to go out and throw this around and we'll see what kind of damage we can do. So I grabbed that too. And then kind of my next visit, I think it was only a day later, Value Village. This hasn't happened for a while, but loose Nintendo games on the shelf. So World Class Track Meet with the Power Pad, which I just picked up a Power Pad again at the Guelph Game Swap a few weeks ago. So with the with a sleeve, and then Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. So these were $4.99 with my coupon. So they were like $4 each. So grab those. Don't see a lot of Nintendo games just loose on the shelf anymore. And then the other one that's kind of cool, nice vintage piece, Milton Bradley, Cabbage Patch Kids, what's this called? Hide and Seek game. So this is from 1984. It's complete instructions. It's kind of like there's like the fishing game where you try and fish and catch a fish out of something similar where it rotates. This one they kind of pop up and you have to match the kids' names with the one on the card you get. Anyway, that's kind of cool. And then Conduit for Wii. I remember when this came out. It was kind of a big deal. It was supposed to be like a true first-person shooter on the Wii with decent graphics. It's made by Sega, so I grabbed that. And then I actually always liked these games. Fear 2. So the first Fear I remember playing on PC. Kind of a first-person shooter horror game. So I grabbed that. So bunch of video games. Glad to find some retro games though at Value Village. And then on my next trip, actually this was kind of the first thing I saw, Big Hug Mug. So this is from, what's it called? True Crime or True Detectives? Now I'm going to mess up the name. Anyway, it's the FTD Big Hug Banquet. So this came out in like the 70s. So in the show, they drink out of this mug. Matthew McConaughey's character drinks out of this mug. So these actually go for okay money on eBay. I'm going to keep this one. I've passed these up a couple of times in the past, and my wife said, if you ever find one again, keep it. Or buy it, at least. Some cassettes. Leonard Cohen, The Future. It's a great cassette. And Crash Test Dummies, so this will be for resale. So grab those two. And then some games, and actually decent games at that. So Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition. Complete. I have this game, but it's always a great game to resell. And then two of these, and I thought I owned this and I didn't. Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles complete, and then a second one sitting right beside it, which is really odd. And these go for okay money for a Wii title. And I thought, like I said, I thought I owned one, or I thought I owned it already, and I didn't. So adding this to the collection and then selling the other one. So that's pretty cool. Happy with that. We'll talk about garage sales, and then I'll go back to just sort of some thrift finds I found, I guess, after garage selling. So the one thing I forgot last week to tell everyone about, just a minor thing, was these really cool. I like these a lot. Vintage keychains. So there's a Smurfette one. These were 25 cents each. The video camera can pick that up. And then similar Smurf ones, these little plastic cards. I used to have something like this when I was a kid that was like money. So little plastic cards, and then another one of little plastic cards for the Smurfs as well. And then I have that was Smurfette. I have a Smurf one, which I've actually put on my keychain. And then a little vintage Rubik's Cube keychain as well. So those were all 25 cents. So those are from last week's garage sale. This Saturday, what was interesting about Guelph was there was only 15 yard sales listed. So, you know, middle of June, maybe it's getting into a lull already. I don't know, but that's incredibly low. So I kind of looked at what people were selling. There was a couple that listed video games. There was actually one that I was really interested in that listed beer signs. And so I went to a couple sales, and the beer, well, while I was waiting for the beer sign one to open, and the only thing I grabbed before the beer sale sign opening, was 2 cassettes, Aerosmith Pump. Again, I already have this. This will be for resale. And Eagles Greatest Hits. I think this is the second collection, but yeah, Eagles Greatest Hits. So 2 cassettes. Went over to the beer sign sale, and the guy definitely had the signs. And I guess it wasn't what I expected, or maybe it was better than I expected. We negotiated the price for quite a bit. He showed me them working, but they weren't bright. You know, it's the middle of the day or middle of the morning, kind of. Not middle of the morning. It's the sun's up. And anyway, so we had 2 of them. So this is the first one, which he actually said was his favorite, and I liked it enough. But it's a Labatt Blue. This is not lit up right now. I don't have it plugged in. Labatt Blue hot air balloon. So it lights up with the colors, blue, red, white. Has the little basket at the bottom. So he actually said kind of like this one meant a lot to him, whatever. But the one I actually wanted was this one, which I do have lit up right now. And I think you'll be able to see this on camera. So this is a Schlitz malt liquor 3D bowl. Look at that. Eyes light up red. And so he showed this to me, and it didn't look this good in his garage due to all the light. But now that I see it in the dark, I don't know if I can make it really dark in here. Let me see. There's some backlight there, but look at that. Pretty awesome. So anyway, these will be going up in my garage, I think. Don't know if I'll put this in the basement. We'll see. It's pretty awesome though. So my thing about Schlitz is from Super Troopers, the movie where he's like, Farver's like, give me 6 Schlitz. And they say, we don't have Schlitz. He's like, whatever's free. So that's awesome. Anyway, so glad to grab that. So that was my first big find of the day. And then otherwise, you know, continue going to sales, really not finding anything. And then, again, only limited sales to go to. But there's this one sale that was selling a lot of antique furniture. And I'm not a furniture person by any means, but their prices were incredibly low on, you know, really cool retro chairs for the kitchen. If it was probably maybe for elsewhere in the house, I would have got them. But kitchen chairs, some desks, lamps. And so the one thing I saw, I think it was the first thing I bought. Checking around my pile here. It's like just a cool retro cocktail tray, 25 cents. Like this is probably from like the 70s or 60s, 50s, I don't know, like cool drinks drawn on it. So I grabbed that. And then they had, this was just out of place, and I have the rest of the pieces of this, but like this is a Polly Pocket, I think, or it says Trendmasters castle, probably a Disney castle. So like I said, all the tops are in another bag. So these were $2. There's 2 of them for the set, These usually sell for pretty good money, so I'm going to sell these. And like I said, the rest of it's in another bag. And then, I'm looking around at their, I guess, furniture, and they have this TV here. $2. Really nice color RCA XL100, vintage TV. It totally works fine. Really clean. I gave it a wipe down, but super clean. I'll do probably a post on Instagram about this. I hooked up some consoles to it. They look great. So $2 for a vintage TV. And so like I said, they just had all this stuff for really cheap. So stuff I wouldn't normally buy, I was buying. So really cool vintage sugar and flour tins from like the 50s or 60s. 50 cents. Look at those. Someone will put those on their kitchen counter. So I'm going to sell these. And then another entire set. Another color. Really cool again. So again, nice orange. So flour, sugar, and then there's a tea and coffee. It's a really cool tea and coffee set. So it comes apart. And so yeah, 50 cents each. Couldn't believe it. So I grabbed those. I'll sell them. And that was kind of it. And I think I went to a few more sales. Really nothing. Like I said, kind of the last sale of the day I hit up, and it was sort of raining at this point in Guelph, or misting. So this person was in their garage, woman. Nothing I saw that really caught my eye, but then she had like a vintage Care Bears mug, so I grabbed that. She wanted a quarter for it. I always find that surprising when people, quarter here, quarter there. It just seems so minor to worth the time. Then I was kind of about to leave, and I saw these. So Hulkamania pencils with Hulk on them. These are from 91, not used. There's 2 of them. And she wanted 5 cents for them. And so I was like, I didn't want to break, I guess, money to do 10 cents worth of stuff. Anyway, I asked about video games, did my usual spiel. She started off by saying, no, we don't have any video games. And then I continued with my list of Sega, Atari, Super Nintendo, Game Boys, Nintendo DS's. And she said, oh, well, I think my boyfriend has a Nintendo, but I don't know where it is, and he's not home. He'll be home in a few minutes if you want to walk around. So like 10 seconds later, his car, big Camaro, comes rumbling up, and he gets out, and he's like, she asks him, he's like, no, I don't want to sell it. I want the girls to play it and see if they like it. And I was like, oh, okay, end story. And then he kind of went in the garage and he kind of asked about, well, how much would I pay for it? And I said, well, I'd have to see it first, and maybe if you brought it out, I can make you an offer. So he didn't have to bring it out. It was actually sitting in the garage in a bin right there. So he brought it out. He looked at it briefly. He had a handful of games, and I just said, do you know if it works? And he said, I think so. And I said, well, I could probably offer you $20. And he jumped at it. He was like, oh yeah, $20. So he passed over the 3 games, which is, well, here's the Super Nintendo. Pretty clean, actually. This is probably cleaner than the one I personally own. So Super Nintendo, 3 games. Stunt Racer FX chip, Stanley Cup hockey, and Super Mario World. Nothing exciting. Original controller, third-party controller, wall plug, and actually a NES RCA adapter. Anyway, so he kind of said, oh yeah, I think I have another game in the house. He said he thought it was Mortal Kombat. He didn't want to go look for it, but yet we talked more about video games, and he had some vintage toys as well, but at his other house. So anyway, I got his number. So I'm going to call him back and ask him about the other video games that he might have and see if I can negotiate a price on those. The toys were more like older G.I. Joe, like the 12-inch large dolls. So I don't collect those. But anyway, nice to finally find a retro game console this season, because I really haven't found anything. But But otherwise, yeah, I think it was good to find something. Know that they're still out there. And otherwise, that was pretty much it for garage selling. So two last things was I did hit up a St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. They have really cheap cassettes, so I grabbed a bunch of their cassettes. Looks like someone had dropped off a huge pile. So Alan Jackson, Don't Rock the Jukebox. Alan Jackson, A Lot About Living. These are 25 cents each, so a lot of these I have, so I just flip them. Milli Vanilli. Sorry, Milli Vanilli. Chris Shepherd Pirate Radio Sessions Volume 2. And Chris Shepherd Pirate Radio Stations Volume 1. These are big club hits back in the day. Dwight Yoakam, Guitars and Cadillacs. I have all these. My wife's a huge Dwight Yoakam fan. Shania Twain, Woman and Me. Loverboy, Keep It Up. Huey Lewis and the News 4. Kim Mitchell, Shaken Like a Human Being. And what is this? Crowded House. That's a good album. Temple of Low Men, Crowded House. My first cassette that I ever got as a kid, Corey Hart, Bowie in the Box. Glass Tiger, a lot of Canadian content here. ZZ Top. This is Eliminators. This has a lot of the popular songs on it. U2 Joshua Tree. And another Dwight Yoakam, Hillbilly Deluxe. So 25 cents each. A lot of these I have already, but I'll just sell them. And then one last item. As you know, I was away in Vancouver Island last week for work. So I actually found out, I didn't realize last time, there's 2 thrift stores in the town I was staying in. They had a couple of PS2 games, all priced at $5, nothing really good. So I didn't pick up anything. The one thing I did take from the job site, though, it was being thrown out. Cool signs. Tow away zone. And a 1-hour parking sign. So these will go in the garage. They were in the dump. On site. Anyway, that's it, guys. I will let you go. And if you like this video, be sure to click like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram for live updates. And we will talk to you later. Bye.